So today we're going to make some grocery people. This is an example of what you could make. You can also make them in the grocery store or really wherever you'd like. If you want to make something completely different, as long as you've got some sort of theme going, sort of scene, maybe something that tells a story, you can really go with whatever you want. So here I've got all of my groceries and kitchen items in a scene with eyes and mouths. And let me show you how I got here. So we are going to start with finding your background. So you can absolutely use Google image search, but what's going to get you a slightly better result is if you use Unsplash. So unsplash.com. You can go in and search for just about anything. So you can search for grocery store. If I could type grocery store. Man. I am going to change the license type to free so I don't get any pesky requests for Unsplash Plus. You could choose any one of these things, any grocery store. I happen to do the kitchen. I'm still looking at free backgrounds. These are super high resolution images. So this was the one I picked. I downloaded it for free. If you're using Google Image, make sure that this resolution down here in the corner are pretty large numbers. I would say over 1,000. For the larger of the two numbers would be great. But Unsplash is a really good option too. So I am going to go back to my image. I saved this image in a folder on my desktop that has my name on it. I'm going to open it in Photoshop. And I highly recommend early on saving it as a different name. Even maybe save it as a different name, as your name, before you even open it, because this is now the base layer of your image. So now I need to add some items to this space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into Google Image, and I'm going to find some things. So I'm going to search for apples or lettuce. Find some good images with a super plain background. This pink one's fine. This white is even better. If there's a black background, you will be able to find plenty of things with a plain white background. I searched for a spatula. I had all of these spatulas to pick from. I'm going to save whatever items that I want to my folder. So I've got all of these options in my folder. If you look for all the things that you need up front, then they're all in your folder. And even if you don't use all of them, at least they're already there. So what I did then is this is chaos. Okay. In my kitchen setup, I'm going to take that folder and I'm going to drag and drop an item in there. So I'm going to start with my paper bag. I can make this larger. Make it a little bigger. I can use my select. If that happens to you, if you go into select and everything's gray, you can just click on the layer and you should be good to do select, subject, and mask, the rectangle with the circle. We've practiced that a couple times, right? Now I can move it around, have it wherever I want it to have it. If there are little things that are bothering me with a lack of deselected background, I can click on the mask here and I can use my paintbrush to paint. If I paint black on there, those things will disappear. Right. I can make some things disappear if I want to. I can adjust whatever I want. I can take away some of the leaf if I want to. But I'm not going to be too particular about it right now. All right, so I've got my paper bag and I'm going to add a couple more things. I'm going to add in, let's see, open this back up. I'll add in my lettuce. There we go, make it bigger. Okay, I can rotate it. Do whatever I want. I can, once again, everything's gray, so I have to click on the layer. I can do a different kind of selection. You all will have select subject, the square one, and for that, you just are going to choose it and then hover your cursor over the item until it turns blue and then click on it. But my instance of Photoshop doesn't have that. So I'm going to do the quick select tool and make sure that it's on plus up here. And I can grab a whole bunch of parts of it and very quickly have it all selected. Once I've got the lettuce selected, I'm going to go down and use the clipping mask again, or the layer mask, sorry. And there we go, background free. And then move it around to wherever I want it to be. I'm not going to bog you down with too many of the details of the things I added. So in this one, I added a spatula and a tomato as well. But let's do the quick version. So I've already downloaded and opened in Photoshop the 2 comic face parts. Okay, and what I'm going to do with those is, with this open in another tab in Photoshop, I'm going to go to the eyes. I'm going to, I'm pressing Command D, but you can also, in select, you can do deselect. I'm going to click on the layer and select with the rectangle any one of these eyes that I want to use. So I can use these ones. I'm going to draw the box over them. And then I am going to copy. That can also be Command C. And then I'm going to go back to my working image. And I'm going to do Command V, which is also edit, paste. And now I can make them fit where I want them to go. I can rotate them if I want. I can do whatever I want to them. I can also add effects. So down in layers, why is it not working? Okay, well, click on the layer. There we go. Clicked on the layer. If anything's not working, go click back on the layer that you were working on. So I clicked on the layer, and now I can go down to effects, and I can put an effect on it. Outer glow is a really good one for the eyes. So here you can see, as I move toggles, you're going to be able to see the eyes changing a little bit in this white line around it. So opacity is going to make it darker or lighter. I'm going to put it somewhere in the middle. The spread expands and contracts it a little bit. The size expands and contracts it a lot. You could change the color to something else. If I want it to be blue, green, or yellow, but for now I'll just make it white. Okay, so we're good. I'll do the same thing for the lettuce. So I'll go back to the eyes. I'm going to deselect. I'm going to go to the box, this rectangular marquee tool, or the kind of box select, and I will pick out another set of eyes. So maybe I'll do these eyes this time. I selected them. I'm going to do edit, copy, or Command C. I'm going to go back to my image and do edit, paste, or Command V. I'll make them bigger. I'll put them where I want them. Adjust them however I want. Make sure I selected the layer, and I can add an effect. So I'm going to do the outer glow again. It's going to remember how I did it last time. And now for the lettuce, I think I need the opacity to be a little higher. I want it to show up a little bit more. So there we go. Or maybe I want to change the color for this one. Or make it spread more or less. Whatever you're feeling. They don't all have to be exactly the same. Now I'm going to go in and add mouths. So I'm going to go to comic mouths. I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did before. I'm going to deselect. I'm going to use the selection tool. I'll pick out a mouth. Pick out this one. I drew the box. I'm going to copy. I'll paste. Command V. Using the move tool, I can move it wherever I want it to be. Maybe that's too big. There we go. And I can click on the layer and add an effect if I want. One that works kind of interestingly is the inner shadow. It just kind of gives a little dimension to the lips. With the red lips, it's a little weird though. The shadow is happening in the lip. In the ones without lips, it looks like there's just a little dimension. So you know what? I'm going to cancel. I've decided I don't want this one. I'm going to instead do, I'll do a drop shadow on this one. See how it gives it a little dimension along the outside of the lips? So we can change the opacity so it looks darker or lighter. We can change the angle. We can change the distance from the lips, but I want it to stay kind of close. We can change the spread, how far away it goes, change the size. Okay, I'm happy with it, so I'm going to press OK. And I'm going to go back and get some lettuce for the lips for the lettuce. So this time I'm going to deselect. I'm going to grab the rectangle. I'll pick this one. I'm going to Command C, Command V, Move tool, drag it over, and make it bigger. If I feel like that isn't quite how the direction that his mouth should go, I can go up to, actually that does work. Edit, transform, and flip horizontal, and it goes the other way. I will add an effect by clicking on the layer, going to FX, and I'll show you that inner shadow thing again. So if you see, right here is where you're going to notice it. So it just adds a little bit of depth to the mouth. So that can be a fun one to use. Bevel is also an interesting one to use because that also gives a little bit of dimension to the mouth in an interesting way. So I'm pretty happy with that right away. So I have these two items with face parts. I'm going to add a couple more to get to here. After I was done adding eyes and mouths, I used the paintbrush tool to add arms. You can add legs. I added some action to the scene. You can really do whatever you want. And the tools for that are up here. You can make the size of the brush bigger or smaller. You can make the hardness, which is like the edge of the line, harder or softer. So for example, the purple line was a much harder edge than the white line. I gave it a softer, I lowered the hardness, and it gave it kind of a glowy look to it. So really best of luck to you. You can do this however you want, but I do want to see at least 4 items in your image. And I'd love to see some effects. And it would be ideal if your image told some sort of story or had some sort of action going on. So have fun with it.